breaking down all the plays and getting you in the action. We've got you covered all season long. Welcome to the BCSN Nation Podcast, powered by Marco's Pizza.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into Season 2, Episode number 15 here on the BCSN Nation Podcast, powered by Marco's Pizza. We are just about ready to put a bow on the 2023 high school football season. So as we get into today's episode, Justin, why don't you look back at this season and give me your rating, 1 out of 10 for this season?
All right, I'm always thinking there's more out there, so
Sure.
I can't give it a 10. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Whiteford in the state championship game, we'll talk about that. Central Catholic in the state championship game, we'll talk about that. Ottawa Hills, a little bit of a surprise, 11 wins.
Yes.
The best win total in season in program history, but I would have liked to seen a little more playoff success out of Perrysburg, Whitmer, Southview, St. John's throughout the regular season as well. So that's why I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Always room for improvement.
Of course. All right. I like it. Mike Rob, what you got?
Hey, you know what? I'm going to go with a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
you know, I'm always...
one up in them. All right.
Hey, look, 1.5 up in there. You know, the main thing is, you got to see Lima Senior play in the City League and win a City League title. You know, you got to see this new NLL league that everybody been talking about and how well it's going to play. You got to see the Toledo teams playing the Detroit Catholic League, which was a pretty interesting thing to see. And it'll be very cool to see now that basketball season is amongst us, because I think that's going to get fun. But more so, I think we saw a lot of players step up that we didn't expect to step up. We saw a lot of coaches, step up in ways that they haven't done before. Stephen Adams winning Coach of the Year. I mean, a lot of good things happening here in Northwest Ohio football. So I'm grateful for it.
All right. I like it. Man, it has been an incredible season, and we're almost over. So we're going to break down some things coming up on today's episode. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Whiteford, like Justin alluded to. Their state championship game happened this past week. We're going to recap that. Also, we got the Division III state championship game with Central Catholic and Bishop Watterson coming up this Friday, 3 p.m. in Canton, live on BCSN. We'll talk about that here coming up on the show. We're also talking our favorite moments from the season, our Friday Night Warriors, a little different take on what we do with basketball. First team all BCSN, taking a little bit of a different take with basketball and football here. We're also talking a Game of the Week preview, talking about basketball coming up here, and much more on today's show. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the BCSN Nation Podcast, powered by Marco's Pizza, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on BCSN. And also, remember, you can listen to us throughout the week on our audio podcast platforms on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and always on bcsnnation.com/podcast. And make sure you check us out on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at BCSN Sports for daily content. If you miss us on Sports Nightly, you can always check us out on our social media for content over there. All right, let's get it rolling here. We're going to go and we're going to talk about Michigan. We got Whiteford in the state title game for Division VIII last week at Ford Field. Didn't go the way of the Bobcats. They were held to a season low 60 rushing yards against Ubly. It was a 7-6 game at the half. But unfortunately, there in the second half, Whiteford not able to get anything going. Ubly had double the time of possession in that game over Whiteford, and they took that win. Final score 21-6. So, Mike Robb, looking at this game that we had last week with Whiteford, let's just recap it. How did that game go? How was the season for Whiteford this year?
You know, it was an amazing season. I mean, you had a coach that go 29-1. I mean, that's just unheard
Can't complain.
of. You can't complain because you didn't get it done in the game, the one that mattered. And I think this is something that's going to sting. It's going to sit for a while with this Whiteford football team. They're going to have a pretty charged up offseason because this is a team that avenged their loss in the state championship last year. So there's a rivalry being built right now. And I think for this young football team, they've got to experience the success. They got to experience defeat. And you need that in order to be able to compete at the next level, to be able to take your game to a higher point. So, although it's a little bit salt on the wound here for Whiteford, I believe that this is a loss that's going to help them continue to win more championships.
Yeah, and knowing what Coach Todd Teakin said prior to the game and seeing some pregame interviews with not only him but some of the players, they knew it would be tough. I mean, a state championship game should, by definition, be a close and difficult and tough contest, and they just didn't come up on the right side of the scoreboard after beating that same team the previous year. I mean, 27 wins in a row is something to be very, very, very proud of, and they challenged themselves. It's not as if they just played the same teams over and over again and beat, teams that were totally inferior. They challenged themselves and then dominated in some respects in the postseason run. But he knew that this was going to be a tough running game, and they were going to stop the run. If both of these teams focus primarily on the run, their offense is based on the run game. Whiteford throws the ball a little more than Ubley did. But, you said it there in the second half. They just shut them down. You score 0 points, a goose egg in the third and fourth quarters combined. The one touchdown, freshman Trey Eitner to Hunter DeBar for a touchdown. It was a 15-play, 99-yard drive. Yeah. So when you do that, you got a little juice, a little momentum.
Yeah.
But credit to Ubley and saying that they just found a way to stop them consistently after that 99-yard drive. And then hats off to Todd Deacon, coming off our reigning BCSN Honors Coach of the Year. And I appreciate when coaches, and it was pretty indicative, it was easy for him to say that, hey, the better team won. They showed it. They proved it on the field over the course of 4 quarters at Detroit's Ford Field. But still, again, for Whiteford to do what they did. And then the seniors. We all know that this is a large senior class, or at least a senior class that has been very impactful, not only this year and last year, the state championship appearance teams, but all from their freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. Some of the seniors on this team played 50 high school football games, 5-0. And think about this, in Michigan, you only play 9 regular season games, not 10 in Ohio. So 9 times 4, you'd play 36 games if you're a freshman varsity player. So they played 14 more. They basically played 5 seasons of football in 4 years. So hats off to Whiteford and all they accomplished.
Absolutely. And taking a look at some comments that the head coach, Todd Deacon, mentioned after the game there, he was saying that some of his players were coming up to him after the game and apologizing, just saying, sorry, we couldn't get it done. And coach responded to them saying, I'm sorry that I can't coach you anymore. Just to have that connection with your players, talking about the amount of seniors that are going to be graduating out of this microb. To have that kind of connection with your team, it goes a lot farther than just football.
Yeah, absolutely. And then being a former head coach, I got to see a couple of my guys this past weekend, Bryce Mitchell and Ralph Perryman, and just talking to them and just having off football conversations. It take them years to come back and say how much they appreciate you. But when you're under a program like Whiteford, you understand the appreciation right away because what they're doing is special over there. This is a football town. And for Coach Teakin, he is a humble guy. Justin said it. He's extremely humble. He cares about his programs, and he can care less about any accolades that he deserves or he gets because you want to give it back to your players, and you want them to feel like they made the program because those will be the kids who graduate from that school that will come back for their reunions and have special things to talk about. So it's a special relationship between a coach and a player, but more importantly, the life lessons are what matter the most.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on yet another successful seasons from Whiteford. It didn't go as far as they had hoped, but still a really great season. All right, let's talk about another team that's going to the Division III state championship game this Friday, 3 p.m. in Canton, live on BCSN. You guys can watch that game live on BCSN Friday at 3 p.m. We got Central Catholic and Bishop Watterson. This is going to be a very good game to take a look at. Central Catholic, I believe, 5 overall state titles, but they've never won a back-to-back state title. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to run it back this week and this year. They got a big win over Chardon last week, 35-7. That was a very, very strong showing. And we'll talk a little bit about a specific play here coming up on our clip of the week. But Mike Robb, when looking at that game, they just performed so well and really looked like they're absolutely on their way to try and run for another state title here soon.
Is it preseason or week 1? Because I believe that's what I said at the beginning of the year. That the Central Catholic was not going to lose a game this year and that they would run to the state championship. I said they beat Chardon by 4 touchdowns. And I think they did, because Central Catholic has just been that dominant. When you look at Central Catholic in the past 2 weeks, they played Tiffin Columbian, who also played Chardon, where Central Catholic, those 2 teams played each other where the score is 49-50. I don't see anybody putting that kind of points up on a Central Catholic defense. No. And you saw that there, those teams combined for less than 14 points when they almost put up 100 points on each other. So you always take the under versus a team that's planning to play against a Central Catholic. But more importantly, this is a program back in 2012 and 13. They had a chance to go back to back where The Central Catholic played Clyde at Bowling Green and lost to Deshaun Kaiser from the ball on the 1 yard line. And season ends, and then Clyde goes and gets crushed by Trotwood Madison by like 50 the next week. And then the following year, Central Catholic go and win and beat Joe Burrow. So they had a chance to go for a three-peat. They almost had a two-peat, but now this is a true legitimate chance, especially in Division III, going down to this level and seeing against the talent that they're going to have to. I mean, Don Purcell, the defensive player who's getting a lot of knowledge and recognition, who's up for Mr. Football for Bishop Watterson. I think he's going to have his hands full trying to stop all the talent on the Central Catholic football team.
Yeah, Dominic Purcell, future Navy midshipman. He's recruited to go there, and he's been dominant. And Coach Greg Dempsey told me earlier this week when we did some pre-game interviews with him for BCSN Sports Nightly, he said that he is a playmaker across the board. He can run coverage and stop the run. He can drop back and cover receivers or tight ends. He is just fantastic, more than 100 tackles this season. So he is definitely a guy that you have to prepare for, where a quarterback comes to the line of scrimmage. Okay, where is that linebacker? I got to know where he's going to be based on what play call we're going with. But both of these programs have 4 state titles in the modern era, in the playoff era. Mike Robb alluded to 2012 and 2014. They also won in 2005, and then last year, of course. So 4 state titles under Coach Greg Dempsey. He's been there for 24 years. So, I mean, think about that. Just do the math. If he wins again this Friday at 3 o'clock on BCSN, he'd be at 5 over the course of 24 years. That's 1 every 5 years and a little less than that. So credit to him. But they've beaten Bowling Green, Defiance, Mansfield Senior, Tiffin Columbian, and Chardon over that time span. In those playoff games, they've scored 35 to 42 points, so pretty consistent there. And then they've allowed 7 points, 26 points, 10 points, 6 points, and 7 points. So they are doing well on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And you'll see, as you mentioned in our clip of the week, doing well on special teams as well. But I think defensively, Central Catholic has thrived on interceptions, thrived on tight coverage, and then quarterback sacks. Mike Cannings has done a great job in getting past the line of scrimmage, beating his man one-on-one, or in some cases, some double teams to get to the quarterback to shut down the running game. So I think that this will be a test. And Coach Greg Dempsey said, yes, going from Division II to Division III, everybody has said, okay, it's going to be easy. And he makes it clear. It's not easy. You're taking everybody's best shot. Yes, I think everybody understands that the caliber of competition is down a degree as compared to last year. They had some battles against Kingsmill Kings, had some battles against Avon and Avon Lake over the last few years
and
in
Hoban
Division
in the
II.
state championship.
Hoban in the state championship. So, and also keep in mind, yes, players have been there, done that from Central Catholic's roster, but not in the way in which they were getting the prominent roles. Every high school has senior classes and they graduate. Braden Knowles now playing at UT. 91, 92, 93-yard INT pick 6. He's not on the team anymore. So you're talking about the bright lights. These are the brightest lights in the state championship in Canton, Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So it's going to be a new experience. Yes, some of them have been there, done that. But when you got Bishop Watterson, hasn't been there in a while, they're gung-ho. It's a state championship for them as well. So don't think that it's just going to be a cakewalk. I think that this could be a solid game. I think deservedly so. Central Catholic has been number 1 in the state since the rankings came out. They should be the favorite, but don't be surprised if this is a ball game.
I won't be surprised, and I don't think it's going to be a ball game.
All right. Okay.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying personally, just looking at this team and how they performed and just, you got one player that's really special. But that offensive line.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And let me bring up one more element that plays into what you're talking about. Rain. It is possibly expected to rain.
Okay.
It's a Wednesday now, so we got forecast can shift, as we know. We live in Ohio. So when you got a passing quarterback who's thrown for 3,000 yards on Bishop Watterson's side, passing games get shut down when it rains. Running game and offensive line lead to victories in the rain. But you got to hold on the ball. Either way, you got to hold on the ball. Fumbles and turnovers, major roles in big championship games. But if the forecast remains rainy, depending on what degree of rain, I'll be on the sideline shooting the game. So I hope it's not awful.
Better bring your raincoat.
I hate shooting in the rain, but I'll do it for the the viewers, BCSN, and Central Catholic fans.
Oh,
but
I'll say this: who's the best quarterback you've seen this year?
Ryan Montgomery.
What did he do versus Central?
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
in a sense of Central's seen some of the best quarterbacks already.
Yeah, and that was week 1. That was 15 weeks ago.
Yes, and I got a feeling that if you're trying to throw the ball on Victor Singleton and Kevin Arnold and those dudes, you're going to have a hard time because no one has been able to do it effectively.
All right. Well, we're going to find out. We got to move on.
Yeah, we got to go quickly here.
we got to get rolling.
Hey, we got good stuff.
We do got good stuff here on the BCSN Nation Podcast powered by Marco's Pizza. Coming up, we're going to talk our clip of the week. All right, welcome into our clip of the week here on the BCSN Nation Podcast, powered by Marco's Pizza. The clip of the week brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Talking about Central Catholic, we'll briefly go over this right here because Central Catholic, they're able to get it done through the air, on the ground, and on special teams as we take a look at this clip right here. The very first play from last week against Chardon. Just watch. We got number 5, Marvon Greenlee.
Guess who?
Taking it to the near side.
Ooh, splits that seam right there. Oh, he's got 2 blockers.
He ain't want to tackle.
That ain't going to happen. Now there's no one on the backside. No one from the far left side covering on the backside. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, just pure speed right there. I mean, the kick, they try to coffin kick him, put him in a corner. But again, look at these guys on the right side of the field. I mean, you're getting yourself outside of a block. Kevin Arnold with a nice block right there by the pursuit. And then just take a look here. That tackle right there is not going to get it done. But look at the speed of Greenlee. He's outrunning the rest of the pursuit. He's out here taking care of business. I mean, that kid is special, and this is why Central Catholic's so good because they can hurt you in all 3 phases.
Yeah, the 4 guys. He could have handed the ball off to 3 of his teammates, and they could have scored the touchdown too there in the last 10 yards. So
no one's there.
Yeah, good for them. That's they're all so many playmakers. That's how you get to the state championship game. You got playmakers all over the field, including special teams.
Yes, and if you want to see more highlight clips just like this that we've had every single week of the season so far, make sure you follow us on our TikTok. It's at BCSN Sports. We got highlight clips just like this every single week. You don't want to miss it. All right, we are getting really, really close. We're technically kind of in the basketball season already. We're finishing up football here on the podcast, but we're rolling into basketball this week, this Friday. We've got a slew of basketball games coming up. Game Day Nation is back for the basketball season this Friday, which means we're back for the student section of the week. The Unison Health student section of the week is coming back this week. So, student sections out there, make sure you show up, be loud, be proud, share your photos and videos with us at BCSN Sports on Instagram and Twitter, and use the hashtag SSOTW for a chance at the chain coming up this season. We would love to bring it out to you. All right, let's move on now. We mentioned at the top of the show our Friday Night Warriors taking a little page out of the First Team All BCSN basketball book, taking it over here to football. So, Justin, why don't you start us off here? Who are some of your top players from this season?
All right, so our game day tailgate, Pat Cacciardo and Matt Kriegel, we did this with them. We've evolved it here to the podcast as well. So, had some parameters, 5 on offense, 5 on defense, 1 special teamer, and then you had to have a quarterback, running back, and a wide receiver, and some linemen, and then defensively, at least 1 representation from the line, the linebackers, and the defensive backs. So I got Grant Kinney and Anthony Wayne. He's just been fantastic. You can run or pass. He'll find a way to win. 2 playoff wins as well. He's only a junior. He's coming back. Isaac Sexton, school record holder for Southview when it comes to career rushing yards. District Division II co-offensive player of the year, 3,400 career yards. Javante Hill from Findlay. 1-hand catch in week 1. Took it to the house. 90 catches. 1,257 yards, 18 touchdowns. Mark Nave from Central Catholic, University of Kentucky commit, D3 District Lineman of the Year, 6'4", 310. Get out of his way. Dylan Robinson, Anthony Wayne, 6'3", 270, BGSU. This dude is strong. You just look at him, you go, oh, wow, I don't think I want a piece of him. 37 pancakes. I think he could eat 37 pancakes and then work it out and off with the workouts that he does that I'm told he does religiously. Defensively, Cadence Carswell, Dylan's teammate there, and Anthony Wayne, first team all NLL in district, 3-year starter at defensive tackle. He does it all. He was a pinch hitter quarterback. He whatever the coach Andy Brungard needed him to do, he did.
Yes.
Carswell, fun player. Napoleon Jemison, Whitmer linebacker, district defensive player of the year, first team all NLL, D1 prospect as a junior, 78 tackles, 17 tackles for a loss. He'll have some Division I suitors to decide upon. Trey Rubenstein from Napoleon. Dude is a highlight machine. He was on the 13 ABC Dave White Chevrolet Football Friday trifecta week after week. Fun player, interceptions, one-hand catches in the end zone. Offensively, he just has a nose for the ball, a ball hawk, winning plays. Luke Wyrow from Findlay, all NLL, first team all district, 104 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, a defensive touchdown. Just a guy who grinds it out, someone who sets by example and leads by example, terrific player. Ryan Ruddy from Whiteford. Dude is Mr. Everything, quarterback, tight end, defensive back, another ball hawk, state title seasons last year, and then got to the state championship game. A lot of it because of Ryan Ruddy and what he brings. And then Taylor Thomas, the kicker for Perrysburg, just a real asset. Coach Dirk Connor said that he put in a ton of work in the offseason, and then it played out in the regular season. They scored a lot of points in the middle chunk of that season, did Perrysburg, and extra points, field goals, so on and so forth. A reliable person. And when you're a high school kicker and you have a coach who has a reliable high school kicker, that is gravy.
Absolutely.
Because you know that you can score in multiple ways.
Yes, I absolutely love it. Look at that's a fantastic list. All right, well, Mike Rob, we've also got a list from you, so why don't you give us your Friday Night Warriors?
Hey, I'll give it a shot. You know what? But if I'm taking my guys versus your guys, I'm taking my guys. Hey, you look at Ryan Montgomery. We already know who he is. Just 5-star. That's what we're gonna say. He's gonna get his 5th star this offseason. 5-star quarterback. Hopefully, he flips his decision and go to Ohio State because we need some help there in that QB room.
Oh boy,
Braswell, obviously Marquand Braswell shared the backfield with Tyler Morgan. I mean, this kid, if he got the full season reps at running back, he'd be a 2,000-yard rusher. Multiple games with 4+ touchdowns. I mean, just a bruiser of a high school football player. Looking forward to seeing him on Friday. Daryl Barnett, he's a special athlete. You want to put the ATH next to his name because there's nothing that he can't do. Signature win versus St. Francis in the rain.
Yes.
What a game. That kid is just special. And then Elijah Williams, another kid to stand next to Mark Nave over there at Central Catholic, a Kent State commit. I don't know that Kent State can hold on to this young man because his stock is going up, especially after this weekend. You'll see that this kid is just as special as advertised. And then Carter Lowe, we know one of the top linemen in the area. I mean, he's got his, he can pick wherever he want to go to college at, right, without a question. And then he's coming back next year, so Whitmer's going to be a fun team to watch. Michael Canning's on the defensive side, been a baller for 4 years. Tough kid. You think he's going to graduate, and I always like to mention this. Luke Montgomery said that this is the toughest kid that he's ever played against in high school. So that stands something. And then Jason Kelly, obviously one of the top linebackers going down to OU. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You stole the words out of my mouth, Michael.
I did it for you. And then Victor Singleton, super sophomore, for Central Catholic. He's got Division I offers from, I believe, Toledo, Kentucky, maybe Bowling Green, but he'll be a Power 5 kid when it's all said and done. Marvon Thompson, a young player at Start High School, very impressed with him. And Jonah Tall, but Marvon, he is a kid that is tough. He plays offense, defense, special teams, and he will come downhill and hit you. He is somebody special to watch, all district type of talent. And then Marvon Greenlee, we just saw him in the clip of the week. He can do it offensively, defensively, and even on special teams. Very special football player. I'll be surprised if he doesn't get scooped up by a Division I team in this offseason. And then special teams. Ramonte Coleman, I mean, we can't forget about the tack and how well he's played all season long, making big plays in special teams all the time, all year, offensively, defensively, and you got to appreciate what Ken James was able to do and get out of him.
Absolutely. Man, I love these lists. It's just making me think about all the amazing plays and these games that we watched this season. It's been fantastic. So really good stuff, guys. I love it. All right, well, taking a look back at the season that we've already been doing, let's take a look at our favorite moments that have happened from this season. Justin, I'll start with you. What is your favorite moment? What stood out to you as something that was really awesome this season?
I'll give you 3 quick ones. Mike Rob already took one of mine. Daryl Barnett Jr., Scott's win over St. Francis in the Glass Bowl early on in the season. He just did whatever needed to be done. Mm-hmm. And before the rain came, found the end zone, 2-point conversion, bada bing, bada boom, big win for the Bulldogs. Also bring up Ottawa Hills, Jack Perozek, touchdown versus Colonel Crawford in the playoffs, he caught the ball like maybe 1 or 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and then took it to the house with some juke moves. 6'3", 210. You think, I don't have juke moves. He's a big tight end kind of guy. He found his way to the end zone, and it wasn't just an easy ride. He maneuvered his way, did get some blocks, obviously. It's a team sport, but found a way to the end zone. Fantastic play there. And then Clay's walk-off touchdown against Sandusky early on in the season. Yep. Mason Heinchel to Hudson Byers, just put it up. He had a guy draped on him. Did Heinchel just put it up? Let your receiver go make a play. You don't see walk-off buzzer beaters, but you really did in that game. So those were my 3.
I love it. Mike Rob, what you got?
I'll go with a couple moments, just obviously watching the new City League, the Detroit Catholic League, and just seeing how that played out for our local teams, and seeing Central Catholic surprisingly come out and win that thing. That was kind of cool. And then also another moment that was really cool to me was watching Perrysburg avenge their loss to Whitmer. I thought that was a special victory for them and their program to be able to battle back and get some revenge there. And then lastly, I just think it was a great year for Ottawa Hills and Whiteford, just lumping them two together, to do what they did this year, it just proved how rich the football is here in Northwest Ohio. And we can't forget about Liberty Center. They're playing for a state title too.
Yeah, It'll take on Perry. It's going to be number 1 versus number 2. I mean, it's as good as it gets in Division 5. Those two teams have been top ranked for a while now throughout the season. And special moments also, shout out to everyone here at BCSN, our Game Day Nation show, our Game Day Nation Overtime show. Mike Robb, Mike Jewell, Joel Sebastianelli, Mark Kuntz, John Demotica, Nicole Weaving, Carly Ford, Brandon Carnes, Scott Flowers, and Chris Morgan. Just do I'm leaving people out as well. Apologies, but just a terrific team that we have here to bring you sights and sounds on Friday night. It's unlike anything else.
Yes.
Well, he's on the show. He's right here. So
I appreciate you, my God.
But just a great team to work with, and glad to be a part of it.
Yes, and real quickly, I absolutely love the story of Mommy this season. That's my personal favorite moment of this season. All right, let's quickly jump in now to our Game of the Week preview. All right, welcome into our Game of the Week preview, brought to you by Dunn Chevy in Oregon. We've talked about football, now it's quickly time to get into basketball here. Let's just get some quick thoughts. We've got Start and Scott this week. Scott at Start, 7:30 on BCSN. Justin, what are we looking at in this big matchup?
Yeah, with Coach Matt Wortham at Start. I mean, he has kind of been the guy, the coach for an extended period of time within the City League. There's been some coaching transition with the other 5-6 schools in the City League with Lima Senior joining now. So Lima Senior, based on what they've done, Coach Q down there has done such a great job. Coached his son a few years ago, but he has still had a continuous amount of talent with Lima Senior. So it's going to be a challenge for not only Start, but all the other teams in the City League. But with this matchup here, definitely I would say the top half of the City League going head-to-head here with Scott versus Start. Keith Tate at Start going against Matt Wortham. I think Start should be the favorite here, but we'll learn more and more about these teams as we progress forward, not only here with the podcast, but with Game Day Nation on Friday nights with Rhett Boyd and Deion Thompson and Joel hosting there. So we'll have live look-ins in this, and this will be live on BCSN and the app, and each and all of our games on Friday nights on the app.
Yes. Real quick thoughts, Mike.
Yeah,
what you got here?
Keith Tate, when I was the head coach at Bowser, he was the head coach at Bowser as well, coaching basketball, and he left to go coach Division II ball, I want to say in Arkansas, and came back. Now he's at Scott. But you got to remember, he took that Bowser basketball team with Delonte Brown, Bryce Mitchell, and all those guys down the States. He had a really good team. He's a really good basketball coach, and now going over there to Scott, he's got a good team with, you're going to see Daryl Barnett. We talked about him. You're going to see Ray and the rest of these guys and Peter. So they got a really good basketball team. I think that Tate's going to elevate this play of the Scott Bulldogs this year.
All right. I like it. You guys can tune into that game live on BCSN 7:30 this Friday. But we got more games coming up this week. So, Justin, real quick, why don't you fly through what we got coming up this Friday?
Yeah, in addition to that one as the game of the week, we're mixing. We got football coverage. We got boys basketball and then hockey as well. So, St. John's and Perrysburg on the ice at BGSU Slater Family Ice Arena. Then Woodward Waite, Anthony Wayne Fremont Ross, Ottawa Hills, Toledo Christian, Finley and Springfield, and then in our Erie market, SMCC at Huron. So it's that time of the year where we got mixtures of fall sports and winter sports. A lot to look forward to.
Yes, you can tune in this Friday 7 o'clock on the NLO Network, I believe, for Game Day Nation this week. Remember, we've got Central Catholic in Canton Friday at 3 p.m.
I'll be there.
Live on BCSN. Justin will be there.
I'll be there.
Mike Rob will be there. Oh, man, we're all going to be there. It's going to be a good time. We'll see you guys next week, December 6th at 4 p.m. on BCSN with the BCSN Nation Podcast. We'll see you then.